maybe it's started. I'm going to say we're started. Hello, everyone! We're getting down to the end of the season. Welcome to the Elite Racer Series Season 2, Race 17, the second race of the chase from Canadian Tire. It's me again, alone, in the booth. However, I have the pole sitter, LT, here to talk through this road course race, because he is somehow good at them. He's on pole. Apparently he tied with Brennan, but they gave him the pole. So LT, how much money did you give the officials, and how do you feel about this race?
I didn't give them any money. It
Okay.
was just luck, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, this race should be fun. Canadian Tire is a very unique road course. The physics are really, really wonky with the Cup cars here. You get on two wheels very often. And to be fast, I feel like you sort of have to manage that and not make mistakes. So, yeah, it should be a fun race.
And if you remember the last time we were at Road Course Mid-Ohio, we had sectors, which basically was the version of manual cautions for road courses, where if enough cars wreck, it causes a manual yellow, and, stuff like that. So, Sector 1 here at Canadian Tire is from the start-finish line all the way to that downhill left-hander, heading to, like, the double apex hairpin. And then Sector 2 is all the way from, obviously, where Sector 1 ends, to the end of Andretti Straight, and then Sector 3 is from there to the start-finish line. So if there's a big enough wreck, since there's no yellows that are on besides the stages, then there will be a manual, and then they have a chance to pit, and then they'll restart whenever everyone's caught back up, whether it be at the beginning of Sector 2, Sector 3, whatever it is. So we'll see how that goes in this one. That'll be unique. We never came into play at Mid-Ohio, but you never know with chase racing here at Canadian Tire what might happen with Big Jim in the points lead and some people trying to chase him. Because I think Big Jim has still a pretty decent points lead. It's like 17 points, I believe. Yes, it's 17 points over BKR. LT moved up to third, but I don't think he gained any points. I think he's still 22 behind Big Jim. So, that's fun. I can join, according to Brennan.
You can join. Sorry.
Wow, you are terrible at this, LT.
I was listening to the race control people.
It looks like there's 13 people in the race. So that's about a normal field. Are 12 of those all chase drivers, or are we maybe missing some chase drivers? Possibly. It looks like.
I don't think Tiger's here.
That's a big one. Fourth in points. Tied for fourth in points with Brennan. And you have to think, Big Jim, not the biggest fan of road courses, however. Rumor has it he's been practicing, trying to get better here at Canadian Tire, because I think he knows that LT and Brennan are pretty darn good at road courses, some would say. And let's see what Alpha and his creation can do. Well, our creation can do. As we're green flag racing at Canadian Tire, there's LT on the outside. Brennan to his inside through one. Long sweeping right-hander. Right behind the Big Jim. You also have Brody coming. He's up behind LT. The field scatters. LT with the lead. Brennan able to keep second. Brody to third. He got by Big Jim on the initial start. We have one car already off into the grass. It looks like it was BKR who comes in second in points. He's fallen down to last already in the running order. As LT leads through the double apex hairpin, but you have Brennan to his inside. They'll race door to door with some contact included, and LT gets the run off using the wider radius to keep the lead. Brennan tried. They'll have to try and use the draft up this long Mario Andretti straight. See how the draft does play into an effect a little bit. Brennan didn't have the best exit from the last few corners, but was able to work it up closer to LT and dive it hard into the corner and gain some time as well. I believe that's turn 8. This is 9 and 10. Which Canadian Tire, both in video game life and real life, those final two corners are prime opportunity for some last lap drama as Brennan moves out in front in turn 1. The 9 car leads off the 19, but LT not giving in. He may have actually hit the inside wall. And they'll still race door to door off turn 2 and into turn 3. Now Brennan with the preferred lane through the right-hander. Side by side battle
Caution is
between.
out, by the way.
Caution's out. Oh. Well, there must have been some major incident that was warranted of a yellow. There are a few cars that are a little bit off pace. As Brennan goes really wide through the double. I mean, I assume the caution's out at sector 2. It's been a good run for Workman up through the field. He's up to 3rd. As now I believe that the rule is you have to allow people to maybe pit if they want to. So I assume that you have to pass pit entry, and then once the field gets caught up, they go green at whatever sector they can. It looks like most of the field may be already caught up. There's Alpha's car. I want to get a closer look at it. It looks like it is about the same blue that we used on the... Oh yeah, this one is definitely a creation. We got some baby blue, looks like maybe some navy blue on that one. There's a lot of orange. The background blends in with the number a little bit. That's interesting. It looks like some cars are going to make the turn to pit road. Alpha, Brett, Tango, Allen, and Big Jim. That is, yeah. Whole field. So LT, you thinking 4 tires here?
Yes.
Is that the way? Since you can't take 2 tires on the left. You just killed Brennan. You may have just killed a few pit crew members. Great job. Oh no, that looked like it hurt.
My entire pit crew is now dead.
Oh, someone gambled and maybe... Oh, Brett. Brett gambling, and now he's out in front. Dominated last race at Phoenix. And he wants to be leading this one. It looks like he maybe went with fuel only. LT does not sound happy, and it may be because he lost a spot to Workman.
Classic.
Classic. There it is. Also, a rule about restarts, they will be single file, so everyone's spread out. So I assume that since everyone came down pit road, that the likelihood of restarting at the beginning of sector 2 is going to be what happens here. That's my assumption. But you know what they say about assuming. It's not good.
We're coming to green.
Yes.
Sector 2.
So I'll be just down this hill, basically. This left hand, downhill, left-hander. And Brett has decided to go. And we are green. That's going to be an interesting restart zone because of what the corner is immediately after it. Alpha sent it on Allen and Big Jim and may have just gotten both those spots. That is a huge stack up right there. That's that restart spot. Whenever it's contact for a second, but that restart spot, whenever it's going to be used, is going to be reminiscent of the IndyCar race today. It's in an awkward position, I must say. Workman moves up to 2nd, Brennan now 3rd. LT cycles into 4th, and Brody's 5th. Big Jim back around Alpha to 6th, Alpha back to 7th, and we got cars in the grass all over. Workman tries to dive it in, but gets loose on exit. Looked like he had to run for Brett, who went wide, but Workman got loose and got into the inside wall, and now Brennan up to 2nd place. And trying to run down Brett, who I believe is on no tires. Just took fuel only and was trying to get that track position. See Brennan trying to fight to the inside turn 2. Very hard to try and make that car stick down there. It wants to wander out, but he'll be side by side with Brett on the outside to turn 3. Door-to-door racing. Working now to turn 4. Brennan, big 2 wheels. Maybe not on his screen, definitely on mine. He'll dive it to the outside right here. Goes really wide up over the curbs. Workman works to his inside. Brennan powers off with just the straighter run. Trying to carry that speed all the way down the backstretch, but Workman got the better exit right there, and the 20 car might have a shot for the lead now. See Brett trying to block. Workman not giving in the look to the inside right here to turn 8 and clears Brett with ease. Now LT looks to clear Brett as well. Brett able to fend him off for now. Workman though leads and might try and get away from the field. Looking for his first win in the Elite Racer Series. Behind the front 4 or so, it is a log jam of cars, including Brody and Big Jim and Alpha. Brennan starting to maybe fall back to that one as LT clears Brett, who falls back to third. Oh, we have Alpha going off track. Caught the car and able to keep it going straight. Looked like a moment though for the 26. Moment for Brett. Right there, and he loses some time to the battle for fourth, which is Brennan and Brody. They race downhill 4 and then to turn 5. Brett dives it in, hits LT. Really hits LT. Oh my. LT powers off and maybe a little angry with the 66. He kind of drove over into him a little bit. They'll race side by side for second, but that right there, LT was kind of right with Workman before that happened, and once that did happen, now Workman's been able to pull away by a few car lengths, and they're still battling side by side. LT though might have the preferred lane through 8, and will clear Brett again now to 9 and then to 10. Everyone trying to just fall into a normal position. See Brennan trying to get by Brett right there. Looked outside, but now looks inside through 1. Oh, you guys are still short on fuel, I see. What? Did you happen to not know that?
I did not know that, no.
Yeah, you guys are still like a lap and a half short. Well, more like a lap and maybe a quarter. They have a battle for the lead, though. No more fuel talk, because it's Workman and LT. That's a dangerous spot to go side by side. Down turn 4 and then up to turn 5. That downhill run is really where that car can just go wherever it wants to. You don't really have control of it. You can see Brennan back there actually lost some ground. As Brett kind of pulled up in front of him, Brennan couldn't get off the corner well, and Brody got by him. Big Jim also hanging tough right now in 6th. So we're coming to halfway in the first stage. First stage is 12 laps. We're to come and complete the 6th lap of this stage. So far we've had 1 yellow. It's been a manual. Since then we've had some good racing though up towards the front. Workman LT are still trying to break away. They're still bound for 3rd. Brett maybe holding up some drivers like Brody and Brennan. Looks like Brennan might be starting to save some fuel a little bit right there. He saved definitely a little bit this lap. He is now exactly 1 lap short on fuel, and he has to save that in 6 laps. That's definitely doable at a road course like this. So you gotta know that Brennan is definitely saving and trying to make it without pitting again. Even though points aren't awarded at stages, he still would love to keep that track position. So Workman and LT dive down 4 and then up to 5. Workman a little bit wider than LT. Brennan kind of cutting it a little shallow right there. Trying to gain back on Brett, who's pulled away a little bit as they battled for 4th. Brennan got back by Brody. You have to wonder if Brody maybe starting to save a little bit possibly. LT looks like he might be content riding behind Workman for now. Maybe trying to save some fuel down the straights as well. Place like a road course, you can really do wonders with saving, no matter if you have a wheel, clutch, or just controller. See Workman maybe a little bit wide through the final corner, but did a great job correcting it back down to the bottom. As we have cars in the inside wall off the final corner. Couldn't quite tell who it was, but there was about 1 or 2 that were down in that wall. If you think about saving fuel at a road course, all it really takes is just keeping it in a higher gear. If it's just kind of normal fuel saving, I like to go, if I'm going to 3rd in a corner, just keep it in 4th. If I go down to 2nd, keep it in 3rd. But if it's, you know, a time where I'm going to maybe have to max fuel save, I like to maybe just keep it in 4th for a lot of it, and maybe only in a few corners go to 3rd. But really at a road course like this, as Brett will let Brennan go, Brett maybe on not only fuel saving, but even tire saving. A road course like this, that, you know, if it comes down to fuel mileage, anyone can do that at a road course like this, depending on the amount of laps it is. And, you know, since this one was just a little bit over a lap short on fuel, that one is definitely doable, and you can definitely see it with Brennan and what he's doing. So I believe that right there is 4 to go. Tango's coming off pit road right in front of the leaders. We have Big Jim getting by Brett, who looks like is still backing off. I want to see how much Brennan has gained. He was about two quarters and a lap short a few laps ago. He got down to a lap 2 laps ago. Last lap, he got to about turn 2 on fuel. This lap, he's off turn 2 and into turn 3. So he's gained another corner. He still has 4 laps to get around. And really, it gives you a lot of fuel here as well at Canadian Tire. I've seen times where people have hit 0 at some point on the Andretti straightaway. And they've come back around and not sputtered. So let's have to see, you know, if people know that, how much are they willing to risk that? Like, oh, I'm good until this point on the Andretti straight. I think I'm good to go. As Workman, oh, that was like an Eli corner in turn 8. He really misjudged it. That's some Eli, if he were here, would say he does a lot. He hates turn 8. Workman either maybe starting to try and fuel save or just misjudged it right there. But these drivers have 3 laps to go, and fuel might still be in question for some drivers, while some might be pushing it hard. It's going to be a fun end to the stage to see who has done it the best. Big Jim is still charging through. He's up to 4th, but is he saving the fuel he needs is the big question. Obviously, it's not a big deficit if he can't make it, because once again, no points awarded in the stages. It's just track position he would lose if he has to pit. Race down to turn 5. Brennan now about maybe half a lap short. Still has not ticked over to 2 laps for Brennan as he hits turn... Yeah, so he has now to about turn 5. So maybe another lap of this fuel saving. He'll be good to some point on the Andretti straightaway. See LT really backing it off of Workman. As Brennan closes in on LT. So you think LT definitely... I think Brennan noticed a little bit earlier. Thankfully I noticed, or else LT maybe would have never known. But
It's true.
Brennan definitely noticed a few laps earlier than LT probably, and that might be why Brennan's going a little bit harder now, while LT meanwhile is backing it down. As you see, Brennan is going to pass LT. So Brennan not maybe in max fuel conservation. He just overdrove turn 1 though, and LT looks back to his inside. But Brennan maybe not in max fuel conservation, still in fuel conservation, because he still has to make it to some point in the Andretti straightaway before that car starts, you know, hitting 0. You have to wonder how good Big Jim is on fuel. Has he saved at all? Did he save early in the run? I don't know, you know. Back there, a battle for 5th, Brett and Brody. Meanwhile, 7th on back is nowhere to be seen. It is the front 6 kind of all here together. The rest of the pack nowhere to be seen. Brody on upper all together. Brennan did not get off that corner well down. LT almost ran him over. And Big Jim gets a run and gets around LT for 3rd, but we don't know the fuel situation in the 3 car, because I don't know if he's been backing off. Considering he's been passing people like that, I don't know. But Brennan is set to run out midway down the Andretti straightaway. That would be when it hits 0. The question is, when would that start the sputtering process as Brett moves around Brody? Meanwhile, Workman is coming to take the final lap of the stage. Has Workman saved fuel? If Workman was able to save fuel, then he did a really good job being able to maintain the lead and maintain the gap, all while doing that. We'll have to see if that car ever starts sputtering in this final lap. And how about Big Jim and Brennan? I would think Brennan is pretty good to go. The question is, what about Big Jim? So work their way through 3 and then to 4. Brett again and Brody. Workman, it looks like still under power as they race to 4 and then to 5. Brennan as well looks like he's still under power. Big Jim as well, so possibly were some of these drivers saving from the start of the stage, as Big Jim wants 2nd on Brennan. They'll drag race down the Andretti straightaway. Workman looks like he's still good under his own power. Big Jim clears for 2nd. Workman to the final 3 corners, 8, 9, and 10. through 8 cleanly, through 9 cleanly. Big Jim trying to catch up, but off of 10. Workman claims stage 1. Big Jim about bins it off the final corner, but keeps second. Brennan third. Had 1% on his tire at the end. So another 500 feet, Brennan would have been going off straight. LT got 4th, Brody got 5th, but once again, no points are awarded in the stages. But now we have a second stage. And it's probably going to be about the same amount of laps, LT, so it looks like, though, this time, if there's no yellow, it would probably be a pit stop, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. We're just gonna, I don't know.
Alright, good to know that you know the strategy.
I know nothing about strategy in this game.
Well, we know that. Richmond is calling. Well, we're under caution. Gotta thank our sponsors, Double G Construction and Roofing and Richmar Florist. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Even LT loves you. He doesn't love much.
I do.
Like he hates yellow numbers.
It's true. I hate them.
Alright, so someone is now leading this race.
Someone.
It's AJ is leading this race. Green flag back there. He may have, pitted at the end of that stage. Workman easily takes the lead through the first corner. Brennan trying to come up on the inside as well. Oh, you guys are right on the money on fuel. Okay. Yeah. Oh, AJ's in the inside wall. Big Jim May followed him. Brody trying to go up the outside as well. It's a mess behind the front few. LT under fire from Alpha. AJ got back by Brennan. Now into second, and Workman pulls away with the lead. Brennan drives it up again to the inside of AJ. Oh my gosh, it is a stack up off of 5. There may have been some contact for a second, which kind of slowed both the guys up, and both lanes were clogged up and nowhere for Big Jim nor Brody to go, and it looks like LT guys are about half a lap short. And when I say that, I mean half a lap short to, oh my gosh. We have one in the grass, or in the gravel, whatever that is. I think that was Allen. But,
I forgot to break.
half a lap short. Oh, Tango is wrecked entering pit road. I don't know if he was entering pit road or if that car just wrecked and now it's in pit road. But, these drivers are half a lap short from running, or from going to 0 at the start-finish line. Oh, as Allen just hit LT. That's some contact racing. That's why these guys have fenders and doors. Not the first time these two have had issues with each other. Might not be the last either, because they seem to both run near the front of the lines. AJ taking it easy into turn 5. Once he looks around his outside. Brett really loose. Oh my gosh, that was a moment for the 66. Winner of last race, and he's still trying to correct it. Pence goes by along with Allen. Close call for LT as well, who saw it all happen right in front of him. Meanwhile, while all that was happening, the front 3 are gone. Workman leading Brennan, leading Brody. And then they have a nice gap over Big Jim, who has a decent gap over LT as well, as Brody looks for a pass on Brennan, but not close enough to make it work. And 9 able to keep second for now. And I believe Brennan, I don't know where he is on fuel. I'll have to see at the line. So I think for Brennan, it just ticked down to... He may have already saved enough. We'll have to see. Obviously, the fuel save in this one is not going to be as hefty as the one we saw last stage. Where last stage they had to save a little bit over a lap. This stage they really don't have to save much. Most of these guys would be hitting 0, entering that double apex hairpin of turn 5 where Brennan is right now. That's where most of them would be running out. or hitting 0, and then you get such a good distance. I mean, Brendan was halfway down Andretti straight last stage when he hit 0, and he still made it around perfectly fine without sputtering. So I think that Brendan may be backing off a little bit to save here, and you really don't have to save much. So I'd only expect maybe a lap or 2, maybe 3 of saving, and then maybe unleash the beast. Because, you know, Brendan is one big road course beast. Brody now to second. Maybe he's not saving as much as Brennan. There are some different strategies. You can go into a little bit of a heavier save for just a few laps and then unleash it. Or you could be maybe like Brody or Workman, to where you kind of just save over the whole run. You give up just a little bit each lap instead of a chunk for a few laps. It's very possible that we see some different strategies like that. I know, LT, there was one Canadian Tire race I watched you do where I had to coach you through fuel saving. So
That helped.
you're kind of used to this. I mean, I think everyone who races here is used to fuel saving if they raced in Cup, because that's just normal. Especially if you run 2 times wear and 50%, the stages just line up perfectly. Even the final stage, I mean, I don't know how long it's going to be, but could get interesting, as Brendan is now nearly good and maybe might even be good enough to start going at a harder pace, as Brody is closed up right to the back of Workman for the lead. Car number 20 versus car number 53. These guys have 5 laps to go already in stage number 2. Never updated this, but BKR did lag out. That's big because he came in second in points, and the likelihood of him leaving second in points is very, very low. As Brody dives under Workman for the lead, some contact made in turn 3. Now to turn 4, this is a very sketchy part of the track to be side by side. Workman drives it in deep, basically telling Brody, I'm taking the spot. So Workman able to keep the lead. Brody could not get it done, and that's about the second or third time this race where we've seen someone get beside Workman but not be able to clear him. Workman is not giving in quite yet for the lead. We'll have to see if that's a common theme in stage number 3. Gonna see where Brennan starts to switch over this time. Hot fuel. Oh yeah, he's definitely good to go now. I mean, he has all the way. He's in turn 8, and it still is not switched down. I think, yeah, he's saved until turn 9, so he can go. He doesn't have to keep saving, because he should know how much reserve you get when it hits 0. It's a lot. So he doesn't have to save. And oh, Brody, a big moment in turn 2. Got very loose on the inside, had to correct the car to the right, and about wrecked it. Did a great job not doing that, but did lose a few tenths to Workman. He pulls away to a decent gap now, and Brody now getting loose off turn number 3 as well. He's definitely pushing it very hard, trying to get to that lead. I have to wonder if Brendan's maybe going to start to pick it up here. It looked like he didn't shift down to 3rd in that last corner, so he's still keeping it 4th for fuel conservation. He's only going down to 3rd in that double apex hairpin. So Brendan is still saving, and I don't really understand why. I just had a feeling that he would have been one to know exactly how much fuel you get when it ticks over to 0, and it's quite a bit here, so I'm honestly a little shocked that he's still trying to save. Unless he's worried about the left front, and he's maybe slowing it down for the left front, but I mean, with 3 to go right here, I'm a little dumbfounded, honestly. Because now, I mean, he's more than good. He saved enough fuel to go past the finish line down to turn 1. So, I mean, I can only assume that is the left front that he's maybe trying to save, because his left front's, I don't know what your left front is at, LT, but his is at 26.
Mine's at 38.
All right, well, maybe he's a little worried about that left front then. Oh, Workman very loose entering turn 5. And Brody closes right back up onto him. Well, Brennan did have 30% at the start-finish line with 3 to go. If he loses 10%, then he'll be right at the money. He's now down to 24, so he's already lost 6%. He still has a few hard, hard braking and just stressful corners to go through with on the tires, and maybe he's worried about that left front. And all that, Big Jim moved around to 3rd. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is still on. Brody is not letting Workman get away with now 2 to go, and Brennan is definitely going to be close on the left front as Brody looks for lead in turn 1. Brennan is down to 20%, 19%. He's lost 11% in 1 lap. It sounds like something may have happened with Brennan and LT, I don't know, or he's just scared about Brennan's tire.
Oh yeah, I'm just reacting to the tire percentage. That's not good.
That's not good. Brody with the run off turn 3, looked to the right of Workman, now looks back left as they go downhill, now uphill to turn 5. Brody really just trying to find a way around this 20 car. They've been right together all stage. They're going hard at it. It'll be the final lap of the stage this time. Right now Workman leads Brody ahead of Big Jim, LT, and Brennan. But Brennan's still trying to nurse home that tire, which could blow off of the final corner, coming to the checkered flag of the stage. Brody's still all over the 20's rear bumper. And he gets very loose off the final corner, but takes the final lap. Workman in the lead, Brody in 2nd. And it's going to be a dogfight all the way to the end of this lap. Brennan did a great job saving the tire that time. He's down to 11% at the white flag. Workman messes up. Brody fights to the inside. There's some contact made in turn 2, but Workman keeps it in turn 3, but not the entry he wanted. Brody back into the gas sooner, has the wider radius. They stay side by side as they work downhill to 4. No one's going to lift this time. Brody and Workman make contact to turn 5. If you're on the outside, you have the advantage off the corner. The longer, straighter shot, but Brody's in the grass, and Workman keeps the lead that time. Allen moves to 5th by Brennan. Can Brody stay close enough for the final 3 corners? We'll have to see to turn 8. Very easy corner to overdrive after that long straightaway. Not much banking, but great job for the front 2 to get through. Brody sends it in turn 9. He might send it in turn 10 to the inside. Some contact with the 20, but Workman stays out in front. Brody's wrecked off the final corner. Big Jim narrowly avoids. Workman gets stage 2 as well. I don't think LT beat him.
Almost.
Big Jim's 2nd. Brody able to keep 3rd. He died trying, literally. LT 4th, Allen gets 5th. Brennan makes it with 2% on the tire that time in 6th. Brett 7th. Looks like Alpha will be 8th. So LT, I think Big Jim's practicing has paid off because he's running really well.
Yeah.
Obviously, while you want to win this race, the fight for the championship is going to be to beat that 3 car. What do you have to do you think?
I honestly don't know. At the end of the run there, I was going flat out and he was pulling away from me. So Workman and Jim are definitely fast. I think Brody's fast as well. I don't really know what I could do here to find speed, but I feel like we have a top 5 car, so just limit mistakes, get a top 5, and I guess we'll call it a day. But maybe these guys could go at it and like maybe wreck or something. I don't know.
Well, the good thing about this stage is that it shouldn't be fuel saving.
That is good.
It should be about 15, 14 laps. You get a little over 8 laps. Well, about 9 laps on fuel here. So, I mean, I think everyone should be good to go. But we have some more new faces at the front. This is going to shake up the running order. AJ leads again. The 7 car, I don't know who the 7 is, but they're 2nd. It's Craig. As we're back to green, this is going to shake it up again. And now Workman and all these guys have to work through as they're going to be 4 wide.
Oh my.
On exit of turn 1, They all try to funnel down to turn 2. Workman in the lead as everyone scatters. They're 4 wide again. Some contact made. Craig has to back out. Big Jim trying to get through the points leader. LT gets through it nicely. He's up to 4th and looking for 3rd on Big Jim. Might look for 2nd on AJ. And it's a scatter behind the front 4. They'll be 3 wide for 2nd. Big Jim backs out though, knowing the point situation. Brennan, the big loser, along with Brody on that restart. They got shuffled back now around 5th, 6th place. LT long gone in 2nd as Craig is kind of messing with the 3 of Big Jim. Big Jim clears for 3rd. Craig sells into 4th. Brody back to 5th with Brennan back to 6th. Not the restart those two wanted. Especially Brody, who was 3rd on the restart. Well, 3rd at the stage end, but 5th on the restart. Does not be able to gain those spots. LT did a good job getting through. Big Jim did a good job. Workman did a really good job. He got through immediately. Turn 1, he drove it to the inside and power move on the outside turn 2 to keep it clear. And Workman leads this race in the 20 car, and he's dominated this one. Is this the day? I don't want to jinx it, but he's had a really, really good car. And he's put a fantastic drive. Really hasn't put a wheel wrong as Brody will move by Craig. That's 4th place. Brennan looks for 5th. Craig not giving in though. He may not have been racing at the front all race, but he's thinking that he has the speed to do it. Unfortunately, he had to let Brody and Brennan go. They've got 2 good of runs off of 3 and down to 4. Craig also sells in behind Alpha and maybe Allen as well. Brennan, big moment, entrance of 5. Alpha got into him, and unfortunately for Alpha, he couldn't find a way around him. Alpha stays behind him for now. Battle for the lead, maybe heating up a little bit. LT gaining on Workman. Also trying to leave Big Jim behind in the 3. Right now it's these two, kind of like what we saw last stage with Brody and Workman. This time it's LT and Workman. And we know what LT would do to win at a road course on the final lap. Ask Kenny, he'll understand. So if LT's behind someone on the last lap, you never know. And we have a battle for the lead in 1. LT got under Workman, but now he's the outside of turn 2. Downhill left-hander. Workman gonna keep it. That's been Workman's strong suit, is once he's under these pressurous situations, he's not cracked under the pressure so far today. He's done a really good job. Even when cars are all over the back of him and side-by-side bound with him, he has not put one wheel off or wrong. He's done a really, really good job of that here today. We'll have to see what the speed of Big Jim and Brody is. Brody is caught back up to Big Jim, who might be slightly catching up to the front two as they kind of go at it a little bit. So, I mean, Brody definitely looking very, very fast at this point in the race. He's leaving Brennan behind as well. So, if you're Brody, you know you have a fast race car, and you just want the front two to start going at it and fall back to you. Because otherwise, I don't know if he's going to be able to run down the gap. I mean, he's really fast, so we'll have to see. And obviously, it's a long stage, and there's still pit stops included. And you have to wonder, everyone, as Big Jim's going to let Brody go. He knows how much faster he is. That classic Big Jim move. You're faster than me, go ahead. Big Jim just let Brody go. Workman up the track again in turn 2. Works his way back down to the bottom. Kind of an interesting entrance there for Workman into that corner. As LT looks inside to turn 3, but 20 car slams the door shut. Goes a little wide there, but that's just to keep the momentum up off of the corner. So now we'll see with Brody clearing 3rd. Can he run the front two down? Honestly, he looks faster than Workman last stage, but road courses, it's very hard to make clean passes as Workman really overcooked turn 5 right there. But once again, that straighter shot off just gets that run all the way down the straightaway. LT trying to do whatever he can to side draft and stay beside him, because he knows if he can do that, he's the advantage in turn 8. The Workman is all but clear of the 19. The more they stay side by side, the more the 53 loves it. It's a dive into turn 8. LT cannot stay beside the 20. And Workman, once again, fends off a huge fight, because that was maybe the biggest challenge he's had. But look at this. That battle, Brody is right there. Make it 3 cars, and it could be 5 in a short moment, because Big Jim and Brennan are not that far back as well. Workman may not be the fastest guy here. It may be someone like Brody, maybe even Brennan, maybe even LT. We don't know. The problem is how hard it is to make a clean pass on a road course. You don't want to make contact with the guy for sure, but at some point it might have to come down to that. Unless you just want to wait for the guy to make a mistake. Workman that time stretched off the corner, but I think that was just him getting off the corner really well because LT didn't really lose much to Brody. As they all race through 5. Interesting to see the different techniques through there. Who goes wider, who stays shallower. All kind of comes together midway down the straightaway where the different approaches to that corner kind of show up. Looks like LT maybe got a better exit, running a little bit wider than Workman right there and able to close the gap in. But while this is happening, the fuel window here is not large, and with the stage not being long, these drivers are going to have to pit within about 4 laps or so. We'll have to see how that all plays into it. Brody wants second from LT as they race through 9 and 10. LT very loose off the corner. Brody's going to have to go through right there. Now the 53 takes second over. LT able to merge back in third, which honestly, at Canadian Tire, LT, not the worst place to be on the last lap. I have good experiences being third into turns 9 and 10 on the last lap here. If Eli were here, he could tell you what the experience was of leading. Spoiler, it did not work out well. So now Workman, once again, kind of built up the gap again. Let's see if Brody can try and close back in, because we know how good Brody was last stage, and he's looked phenomenal so far this stage. I mean, he fell back to 5th place, 6th place on that restart initially, but quickly drove up by some of those guys that stayed out, and then drove up by Brennan, then drove up by Big Jim, and got by LT. Now he's starting to leave LT a little bit, but is he closing out on Workman is the question. Workman's looked really, really good. Once he kind of fended off that fight from the number 19 of LT, it's been hard to catch that 20 car. The pit stop's definitely looming large for these front 5 drivers, as it looks like Big Jim had a moment off of the final corner. Might have to let Brennan go off of that. That final corner so easy to get back into the gas too hard and just spin it off towards the inside wall. Looks like exactly what happened with Big Jim, but at this moment, 7 to go. They're coming around to 6 to go. Everyone's in the fuel window. The question is, when do you pit? And the question is, has anyone tried to possibly save tires to maybe do fuel only? It's everyone's dream at a road course is to, in that final stage, be able to take fuel only and make it on that left front. It is hard to do, and I've never been able to do it. I don't know if anyone's really ever been able to do it at a pace that's good enough to win. So I would expect to see all 4 tire changes when they come into pit road here. Especially for the drivers at the front. Maybe if you're someone that was like riding back in 6th, 7th or something, maybe you're saving. I don't know. We'll just have to see. They're coming around to 6 to go right here. Does anyone try and maybe short pit, undercut? The weird thing about road courses is the car feels better on the longer running. See right there, Workman wanted to pit now, and he decides to do an undercut. The 20 car from the lead in first. So he pitted with 6 to go. We'll see how that strategy works out for him. Obviously, as I was mentioning, on the longer run, the more tires, or the more laps you got in the tires, the better the car feels, which is kind of backwards feeling, but that's just how it is. So you'd have to think that this lap for Brody and LT, they might honestly even come out ahead of Workman with an overcut. The question is, what does the longer run do for these guys? And if you're Brennan, you're definitely pitting this time since your tire is at 13%. So for Brennan, he's definitely going to be in this time. What about the others as Big Jim looks inside of Brennan? Fight for what's 3rd place. Might cycle out to be 4th or so. Come around to the final 5 laps, 5 to go this time by. It's weird to be saying, pit stops this late in a race, but that's just how it is at Canadian Tire. Let's see, Brody not pitting, LT not pitting. Brennan in, but Big Jim not in. So Brennan will pit with 5 to go. He was not confident going another lap with his tire at 7%, but for the rest, they have to be in this next time. I don't see a way where they can make another lap. Also, don't forget, at Canadian Tire, that pit lane, that pit entrance is not where the line is. That pit entrance is just a few feet before the line. So that could catch some people off guard, and it could cause some people to speed. So watch out for our front runners to be conservative entering pit road. Because the last thing you want to do if you have a shot to win is to throw it all away by speeding. I've made other people speed here as well, because I didn't realize that. Workman passes Brennan. So Workman out ahead of Brennan by a few seconds. We'll have to see what Brody and LT can do. They're coming around to 4 to go. That's when they're going to make their pit stops. Brody is in. LT is in. Big Jim will also hit pit road. Alpha will hit pit road. Now it's all about the pit stop time and whatnot. Meanwhile, Brett might be out there trying to save it to go to the end, because it looks like he's right in front of Workman. That could cycle out to where maybe Brett is saving to make it to the end and could be battling for it at the end. We'll see when Brody leaves pit road. Workman is rounding the final corner now. There's Brody trying to get up to speed as quickly as possible. There's Brett. There's Workman. Brody is going to jump the 20 car. So everything worked out well for Brody. The in-lap. Now he has to get a good out-lap, but the in-lap worked beautifully for the 53. Maybe the pit stop time as well. But now Workman, for one of the first times today, is on the offensive. And Brett, meanwhile, he's the leader right in front of Brody, but Brett still has to save fuel to make it to the end, so he's going to let the 53 go. Whenever people catch him, he's going to let them go so that he can just make it to the end. He's not racing for the win at this point. Once he realized they were right behind him, he's not racing for the win. He's just racing now for the best finish possible. We'll have to see how Workman does now, as he has to try and get by that 66, which will easily happen down the Andretti straight. And now what can he do to try and catch Brody? Brennan came out in 4th. Well, it's 5th right now. It will be 4th if he catches Brett. And Big Jim's right behind him as well. That sounded good. LT moves around Brett.
Accidentally doored him, but
Won't be the first time today that you two hit. They have history. It's right here. That is 3 to go. Time is running out if you are Workman right behind Brody. What can he do to try and get up to that 53? And will a mistake happen out of that 53 of Brody? Very easy. There's 10 places to make a mistake on this road course. 2.459 miles. It looks like Workman might be fading back to LT, so if you're Brody, you should know that you have a decent-sized gap, a good lead, and you don't have to be pushing it that hard. Go 75% or so.
Workman got loose, by the way.
Yeah, it looks like he's pushing it now. LT just moved around the number 20 of Workman, so LT to 2nd now, Workman back to 3rd, and it's just not working out for the 20 at this point in the race. Brennan trying to catch him. Big Jim up behind Brett for 5th. Trying to limit the loss of points to Brennan and LT, as the leaders have 2 laps to go. It is all Brody off turn 1 now. You can see the gap back to LT. There's LT entering the frame, so that is a comfortable gap for Brody. He has to be, if I'm him, I'm nowhere near 100%. I'm backing it down so much. It doesn't matter if I win by 3 seconds or 3/10, as long as I get that checkered flag first. Because there have been times where mistakes have been made at Canadian Tire on that final lap or final few laps, where people have caught back up, especially in this corner right here. You drive it in too deep and you get into the wall, you spin, something like that. That final corner, you try and get off it too hard as Workman is trying to get that spot back from LT. That could be a good battle for a second, all the way down to the checkered flag. Alpha moved around Brett to get the 6th. So Brett looks like he might try and get into that spot in 7th and maybe hold it there for the end of this race. Brody, meanwhile, into turn 8 and 9 and 10, and he'll see the white flag this time by. He hasn't been the one to dominate this race, but he's had a really fast car all day long, and now he has one more lap to go to win this one. He's been putting the pressure on Workman basically all day long. Stage 2 was a fantastic battle between he and the 20 car, and it looks like he was on the right side of the strategy call. As this battle for second might turn into a battle for third, as Workman is pushing really hard and Brennan is pushing even harder to get to P3 on that 20 car. Brody, meanwhile, down to turn 4 and then 5. This is one of those trouble corners. If you're pushing too hard, you could easily wreck it here. Brody through turn 5 cleanly. Off 5 well. Now down this long straightaway, which leads into some very fast corners. Brennan, meanwhile, behind Workman for third. If there's a mistake out of the 20, Brennan has P3 in his sights. Brody through the final 3 corners, 8, and then 9 and 10. It looks like he's going to do it. Checkered flag is in the air. And in the Richmar Flores car, Brody wins at Canadian Tire. Second will go to LT, Workman, and Brennan for third. It's side by side by half a car length. Workman gets third. Brennan will have to settle for fourth. And 5th place is going to go to the points leader, Big Jim. Brennan, on that last lap, ran his fastest lap of the race. Talk about pushing it very, very hard to try and get it. Fortunately, he was about half a tenth short. Alpha gets 6th. Brett is probably still trying to save fuel to make it to the line. We'll see if he gets 7th off of Allen. He does get 7th. Looks like Allen is going to be 8th. Penz is going to be 9th. Tango 10th. And it was by about 4.5 seconds or so. Brody was able to claim victory here at Canadian Tire. So he pulled away there at the end and never looked back after pit stops. What a good run for the 53. A good points day for LT. He'll gain some points on Big Jim as that's a crucial fight there. LT probably going to move up to second in points after that one, because he was not too far back at BKR, who did not finish, and so I believe LT is going to be second and might be a little bit less than 22 points behind Big Jim now. We have the race winner in here, so we'll start with Brody. Another great performance for you, and I would say a good call at the end there. Maybe staying out a little bit longer, trying to get the overcut on tires, possibly. Take us through your race, because stage 2 looked like an amazing battle between you and Workman. Then you were able to get out in front of him there at the end of stage 3, and it made all the difference.
Yeah, stage 2 was definitely fun. To battle out with Workman. You know, that was my first time racing with him, and I definitely have a lot of respect for him after this race. It was a overall pretty good race for me. I just did what I had to do at the end, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, you pulled away there. Once you got out front, I mean, it looked like all you needed was that clean air, and you pulled away from LT and Workman as they were battling back behind you. But congratulations on the win. Stole one from the Chasers. I think that's the second chase race in a row that's happened.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll move on
Definitely
to
not
second.
easy to win in here, but
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good people, including the man who finished second, LT. It was a fight inside the top 5 all day for you, and it looked like once you didn't have to worry about fuel saving in that final stage, it looked like it all kind of clicked for you. Take us through as you were trying to battle to get that track position to get out in front.
Yeah, had track position in stage 1, but then lost it all in stage 2. Got mired back in the middle of the pack, and everybody was just hitting everybody. And not only that, but we also had to do fuel saving. So I think the third stage was the best stage because we got to race all out and we got to see who probably was the fastest. And I guess that was Brody. I mean, he was on rails. I couldn't even keep up. He zoomed right by me. I was like, I don't know how he's getting off these corners so fast, but yeah, congrats to him. He was really fast. Workman was really fast too. He drove a good race. But yeah, just keep this momentum up going through the playoffs. I beat Big Jim today, and that was the goal. So see if we could chip away at that points lead.
Did you just call it the playoffs?
Oh, the chase, my bad. The chase.
Chase. God. Yeah, it was a good points day for you. For a little bit there, it looked like maybe Big Jim would actually extend the points lead. But at the end of the day, you finished a few spots ahead of him. That'll be a few more points towards your way. So congrats on the second. You're keeping that top 5 streak alive somehow. And have fun in Auto Club next week.
Thank you.
Move on to the guy in third. Workman, another really, really, really good run. I wouldn't say you put many wheels wrong here today, and it just was just a little bit short again. Take us through your race because you were battling up front the whole time, and it was amazing seeing you be able to hold off all the challenges that came at you, whether it be LT or Brody.
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, unfortunately, some things don't change. I mean, we're going to put together one of these races eventually. But, I mean, first off, like, I don't know what it's been, ever since, Heat 4, Heat 5. Personally, I've always been good on the road courses, and those 3 earlier heats, and then, Heat 4 or 5, just never been able to, just get the driving style down in these things. And I feel like I finally touched on something tonight. And, yeah, we're up there. There are definitely times I feel like, maybe the 53 was a little bit faster. Which, by the way, shout out to him. I think I was thinking, have I raced this guy before? And I don't think so, but I mean, yeah, he drove one hell of a race. I mean, yeah, I felt like, we were probably one of the best guys that could be able to hold off guys. If I felt like the car would be really good if someone got up beside me, I'd be able to keep the tires down to the racetrack and get the good runs off. And then, yeah, I just don't know what happened during that last set of pit stops. I mean, I had a good entry. Exit was good. My in laps and out laps were great, and somehow the 53 still ended up ahead. I mean, yeah, third place would feel great, if we were kind of running third, fourth, fifth. But I mean, just constantly, having running up front, race after race, and then not being able to close out. I mean, it's pretty damn frustrating. But I mean, we got some good tracks coming up as well, so it'll be all right.
Yeah, nothing to scoff at though. Third place, and you led a lot of laps, and you had some amazing battles out there. It was very fun to watch you race once again in the Elite Racer Series. Congrats on your top 3, and hopefully we'll see you for some future races, and hopefully you'll finally get that win. I'm rooting for
sure.
you.
I'll be here. Yeah, maybe the internship's over, and hoping to make these last few races here.
I do want to ask Brendan, since he's in here. Brendan, you were half a car length from third, so I think that warrants a mini interview.
Yeah, look, I wasn't going to send him, but I had a hell of a run off the final corner. He did hit me a little bit, but it didn't cost me any momentum. We still got fourth. Second best of the chase drivers, so we'll take it.
There you go. That mini interview brought to you by Richmar Floors and Double G Construction Roofing. And Richmar Floors car won today. How about that? That's a cool little stat. But next week, this one is going to be interesting. It's Auto Club. If you've never seen Auto Club Heat 5 race, it's craziness. It's just pack racing and whatnot. That's going to be a fun one, especially since it's a chase race. Big Jim is still going to have the points over LT, but it's going to close in a little bit. So I know Big Jim's in here. He might be sweating a little bit, knowing Auto Club is next.
Yeah, Jim has a little bit of breathing room. BKR had to go do something in the middle of a race, so he DNF'd. Yeah. LT did gain points. So I think the whole chase field is kind of hoping on Jim to not have a good day at Auto Club.
Well, it's Auto Club. Anything can happen. You never know. Everyone's all packed together, and who knows what might happen. I just had a stroke trying to say that. Congrats once again to our winner, Brody, on a very impressive performance at Canadian Tire. We'll see you guys next week for All Club.